Bear cub was chased across a frozen lake as the ice cracked. What this baby did was shocking. Let us know where you're watching from. If you love my content, consider supporting it with a super thanks. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It'll help us to remain in touch with amazing people like you. The morning air was different that day. Something hung in the frozen mist above Cedar Lake that made even the boldest animals retreat deeper into the forest. Little Milo Thompson pressed his chubby face against the cabin window. He watched the white world outside. His breath made small clouds on the glass. His mother was in the kitchen. She hummed softly while preparing breakfast. The wood stove crackled. The smell of coffee drifted through the room. Milo wasn't talking yet. At 16 months old, he understood more than anyone realized. His blue eyes tracked movement across the frozen lake. Something moved near the tree line. A small dark shape tumbled out of the woods. It rolled in the snow. Milo's tiny hand patted the window. His excitement grew. The shape was a bear cub. Its fur was chocolate brown. The cub was alone. It played with something on the ice, maybe a stick or an old pine cone. The baby watched the cub slip and slide. Its little paws couldn't find good grip on the smooth surface. The cub spun in circles. It chased its own tail. Milo giggled. The sound was soft and pure. His mother looked over from the stove. "What do you see, sweet boy?" she asked. Milo pointed with his whole arm. His finger left smudges on the window. Then they came. 3 teenagers emerged from behind the old boathouse. Their voices carried across the frozen air. They were loud, they were laughing. But it wasn't a nice laugh. It was the kind that made Milo's smile disappear. The boys spotted the cub immediately. One of them picked up a stick. He waved it in the air. The others joined him. They started moving toward the bear cub. The cub noticed them too late. It had been playing near a fallen branch. Its small head turned. Its ears perked up. Even from the cabin, Milo could see the change. The playfulness vanished. Fear took its place. The cub scrambled backward. Its paws slipped more now. The ice was slick with morning frost. "Hey, little bear," one boy shouted. His voice echoed across the lake. "Where you going?" Another boy threw a small rock. It skittered across the ice. The sound was sharp, like breaking glass. The cub flinched. It tried to run back to the forest. But the boys spread out. They blocked the path to the trees. Milo's breathing changed. His little chest rose and fell faster. His palm pressed flat against the cold window. The cub was trapped. It turned in confused circles. The boys moved closer. They stomped their heavy boots. The ice made strange sounds. Creaking, groaning, warning sounds that the teenagers ignored. Mrs. Thompson was checking something in the oven. She didn't see what was happening outside. Milo wanted to call her, but the only sounds he could make were soft whimpers. He watched the cub dart toward the middle of the lake. The thinner ice. The dangerous ice. Everyone in the village knew to stay near the shores this time of year. The boys followed. They were having fun. They didn't understand, or maybe they didn't care. One boy slid on the ice like it was a game. He laughed when he almost fell. The cub was running now. Its little legs moved frantically. But bears aren't made for ice. Especially baby bears. It tumbled, got up, tumbled again. A crack appeared. Milo saw it first. A dark line spreading across the white surface. It started small, then grew like a snake moving under the ice. The cub was heading straight for it. The boys were too busy laughing to notice. They threw more rocks. Some hit the ice. Some flew past the cub. One grazed its side. The cub cried out. The sound was high and frightened. That's when Milo moved. His little body slid down from the window seat. His socked feet hit the wooden floor. He crawled toward the door, fast for a baby, determined. His mother was still busy in the kitchen. The radio played soft music. She was humming along. The cabin door wasn't locked. People rarely lock doors in Cedar Lake. Milo reached up. His tiny fingers found the handle. It was heavy, cold metal. He pulled with both hands. The door opened just a crack. Cold air rushed in. It made him gasp, but he kept pulling. Outside, the chase continued. The cub was tiring. Its movements were slower. The crack in the ice was growing. More lines appeared. They spread like a spider web. The boys were getting bolder. They moved faster, spread wider. The tallest boy was closest to the cub. He raised his stick. Milo crawled through the door opening. The cold hit him immediately. He wore only his pajamas, little bears on blue fabric. Ironic. His bare feet touched the wooden porch, then snow. It was shocking, burning cold. But he didn't stop. Something inside him pushed forward. The blanket he always carried was still in his hand. His special blanket. Soft yellow with worn edges. He dragged it through the snow. It left a trail behind him. His knees sank into the white powder. The cold bit through his pajamas. His little nose turned red immediately. Mrs. Thompson turned from the stove. "Milo?" She looked at the empty window seat. "Baby?" The open door caught her eye. Cold air was flowing in. "Milo!" Her voice changed. Panic crept in. She dropped the spatula. It clattered on the floor. On the lake, the situation was getting worse. The cub had stopped running. It stood in the middle of a growing web of cracks. Its small body trembled. From cold, or fear, or both. The boys finally noticed the ice breaking. They stopped throwing things, but they didn't back away. They stood in a circle, watching, waiting. Milo was at the lake's edge now. His movement caught everyone's attention. The boys turned. Their mouths opened in surprise. A baby? Out here, alone? The cub noticed too. Its dark eyes found Milo. Something passed between them. Understanding, maybe, or recognition of another small, scared creature. The baby raised his blanket. He waved it slowly, like a flag or a signal. His other hand reached toward the cub. He made soft sounds, not words, just gentle noises. The same sounds he made to his stuffed animals at night. "What the hell?" one boy said. He looked at his friends. They shrugged. Nobody knew what to do. The baby kept moving forward, onto the ice. His tiny feet found purchase somehow. He didn't slip. He moved with strange confidence. The ice cracked louder. A piece broke free. It tilted into the dark water below. The cub scrambled backward, but there was nowhere safe to go. The boys finally understood the danger. They started backing away, moving toward shore, but their weight had already done damage. Milo kept going. His blanket dragged on the ice. His blue eyes never left the cub. He was close now, close enough to see the cub's rapid breathing, to see the fear in its eyes. The baby sat down, right there on the cracking ice. He spread his blanket wide. An invitation. A safe place. Mrs. Thompson burst through the cabin door. She saw her baby on the ice, saw the cub, saw the breaking surface. Her scream was primal, pure mother's terror. It echoed across the lake. It reached the trees. It woke things that had been sleeping. That's when the growl came. Low and powerful. It rumbled from the forest like thunder. Everyone froze. Even the ice seemed to pause its breaking. The boys' faces went white. They knew that sound. Every person in Cedar Lake knew that sound. Mama Bear was coming. The forest exploded. Branches snapped. Snow fell from disturbed trees. A massive shape burst through the undergrowth. black fur rippled with each powerful stride. The mother bear was enormous, 7 feet tall on all fours. Her eyes burned with maternal rage. She had been fishing downstream. The cub had wandered off. Now her baby was in danger. Nothing else mattered. The teenagers scrambled. They ran for shore. Their boots slipped. One boy fell hard. His friends didn't stop to help. They left him crawling on the ice. Fear made them selfish. Fear made them fast, but not fast enough. The mother bear's roar shook the air. Windows rattled in nearby cabins. Birds exploded from trees miles away. Mrs. Thompson was halfway to the lake. Her bare feet bled from running on frozen ground. She didn't feel it. Her baby was on breaking ice, with a bear cub, with an angry mother bear charging. It was every parent's nightmare, made real, made worse. She screamed Milo's name over and over. The sound was lost in the chaos, but Milo didn't move. He sat perfectly still, his yellow blanket spread before him. The cub looked between him and its approaching mother. Confusion mixed with instinct. The ice groaned beneath them. Water seeped through new cracks, dark and deadly cold. Milo's pajamas were soaked. His lips were turning blue, but his eyes stayed calm, focused, old beyond their months. The mother bear reached the lake's edge. She tested the ice with one massive paw. It creaked dangerously. She weighed 800 pounds. The ice wouldn't hold her. She knew it. Her cub was 20 feet out, trapped. The human baby sat between them. She roared again, frustration, warning, desperation. One of the boys reached shore. He turned back, saw his friend still crawling, still slipping. The mother bear was close, too close. The boy hesitated, then ran back. He grabbed his friend's jacket, pulled hard. They tumbled onto solid ground, just as the bear's paw swept where they'd been, inches from death. They scrambled into the trees, disappeared. The third boy was smarter, or luckier. He'd run along the shoreline, away from the bear's path. But he stopped at the abandoned boathouse. He watched from behind rotting wood. His phone was in his pocket. He pulled it out, started recording. His hands shook. The image jumped, but he kept filming. On the ice, something strange was happening. The cub had inched closer to Milo. Its tiny paws found careful purchase. The ice held, barely. The cub sniffed Milo's outstretched hand, then the blanket, then Milo's face. Its rough tongue licked the baby's cheek. Milo giggled. The sound was pure joy. It cut through the tension like light through darkness. Mrs. Thompson reached the lake. She saw her baby, saw the cub, saw the massive bear pacing the shoreline. Her maternal instinct warred with terror. She wanted to run onto the ice, but she knew. Her weight would break it. They'd all go under. The black water waited, patient, hungry. "Milo," she cried. Her voice cracked. "Baby, please." But Milo wasn't listening. He was focused on the cub. He lifted his blanket, wrapped it around the small bear. The cub didn't resist. It pressed against Milo, seeking warmth, finding comfort. 2 babies, different species, same need. The mother bear stopped pacing. She tilted her massive head, watched. Her cub was calm, happy even. With a human baby, it didn't make sense. Instinct said attack, protect, kill if necessary. But something else stirred, something deeper, older. She sat back on her haunches, waiting. That's when the ice really started to go. A crack like gunfire split the air. A large section tilted. Water rushed up, black and shocking. Milo and the cub were on a shrinking island. The blanket was wet now, heavy. The cub whimpered. Milo patted its head. His movements were slow. Hypothermia was setting in. The boy with the phone stepped out. "We have to do something," he shouted. His earlier cruelty forgotten, replaced by guilt, by fear, by humanity. He looked around, saw a long branch, fallen from last week's storm. He grabbed it, started pulling it to the lake. Mrs. Thompson saw him, understood immediately. Yes, she ran to help. Together they dragged the branch. It was thick, 20 feet long, maybe enough, maybe not. They pushed it onto the ice. It scraped and slid toward the babies. But the mother bear had her own plan. She tested the ice again, found a thicker section, closer to shore. She belly crawled forward, spreading her weight. The ice groaned but held inch by inch toward her cub. Her massive body left a trail in the frost. Milo saw her coming. He should have been terrified. This enormous predator, crawling toward him, teeth like daggers, claws like knives. But he smiled, raised one small hand, waved, the same way he waved at dogs in the park, at cats in windows, at anything with fur and eyes. The cub started moving too, toward its mother, but it stopped, looked back at Milo, made a small sound, almost like a question. Milo nodded, as if he understood. He gently pushed the cub. "Go," his gesture said. "Go to Mama." The branch reached them first. The boy and Mrs. Thompson pushed it as far as they could. It touched the edge of their ice island. "Milo, grab the stick," Mrs. Thompson pleaded. "Please, baby." Milo looked at the branch, then at the cub, then at the approaching mother bear. He made a decision. He picked up the cub. It was heavier than expected. His little arms strained, but he lifted it, placed it on the branch. The cub gripped with its claws, confused but trusting. Milo pushed gently. The cub scooted forward, along the branch, toward shore, toward safety. The mother bear was close now, close enough to reach her baby. She extended one massive paw, caught the cub, pulled it against her chest. The cub buried its face in her fur, safe, warm, home. The mother bear looked at Milo. Their eyes met, brown meeting blue, understanding passing between them. But Milo was alone now, on ice that was breaking faster. The branch was still there, but his little hands were too cold, too stiff. He couldn't grip it. He tried, failed, tried again. The ice tilted more. Water lapped at his legs, so cold it burned. The mother bear did something unexpected. She used her paw to push the branch, closer to Milo, held it steady. Her cub clung to her chest. She rumbled, not a growl, something softer, encouragement maybe. Milo tried again. His frozen fingers found purchase. Mrs. Thompson and the boy pulled, carefully, slowly. The ice cracked more. Pieces floated away, but Milo held on. His blanket floated in the dark water, yellow against black. Lost. But he didn't let go of the branch, inch by painful inch. They pulled him closer. The mother bear backed away, still carrying her cub. She could have left then, disappeared into the forest. Job done. Baby saved, but she stayed, watched, as if making sure. This small human, who saved her baby, would be saved too. Milo's feet touched thicker ice, then slush, then solid ground. His mother grabbed him, crushed him against her chest. He was so cold, lips purple, skin white, but alive, breathing. Her tears were hot on his frozen cheeks. The boy dropped his phone. It recorded sky, clouds, nothing. He didn't care. He stared at the bears, at the baby, at the mother, at what had just happened. His friends were gone, hidden, ashamed maybe, or just scared. But he stayed, witnessed, changed. The mother bear stood fully, her cub safe against her chest. She looked once more at Milo, at Mrs. Thompson, at the boy, then turned, walked back toward the forest, unhurried, dignified. At the tree line, she paused, turned her massive head. The cub peeked out from her fur, made a small sound like goodbye. Then they were gone, swallowed by shadows and snow. The lake was quiet. just the sound of ice settling, water lapping. Mrs. Thompson's sobs. She wrapped Milo in her coat, his eyes were closing, hypothermia pulling him down. She ran for the cabin, for warmth, for life. The boy followed, his phone forgotten in the snow, still recording nothing. He helped Mrs. Thompson with the door, with blankets, with the fire. They worked together, warming the baby, calling for help. No words between them, just purpose, just need. But something else had happened, something the boy felt but couldn't name in that moment. Watching a baby save a cub, watching a bear save a baby, watching species help species. He understood something, about cruelty, about kindness, about choice. His friends had run, he had stayed, that mattered, that changed things. The phone in the snow kept recording, the empty lake, the broken ice, the yellow blanket floating, then sinking, gone, like the moment, but not the memory. Never the memory. Some things mark you, transform you. This was one, for everyone who saw, everyone who knew, forever. Inside the cabin, time moved differently, urgently, desperately. Mrs. Thompson peeled wet clothes from Milo's small body. His skin was marble white, tinged blue at the edges. The boy, who finally remembered his name was Dylan, heated water. His hands trembled as he filled pots, set them on the stove. The fire crackled. Not enough, never enough. "The towels," Mrs. Thompson said. Her voice was steady now, crisis bringing clarity. "In the bathroom, all of them." Dylan ran. His boots left puddles on the wooden floor. He grabbed armfuls of towels, software dry, warm from the heated closet. Small mercies in desperate times. They wrapped Milo carefully, layer after layer. His eyes fluttered. Open, closed. Open again. He wasn't crying. That worried Mrs. Thompson more than screams would have. Quiet babies in crisis were dangerous. She knew the signs. Hypothermia stole voice first, then consciousness, then life. "We need help," she said. "Phone. Where was her phone?" "The kitchen." She grabbed it, dialed 911. Her fingers slipped. Wrong numbers. She tried again. The signal was weak. Rural problems. Mountain problems. "Please," she whispered to the phone. To God. To anyone listening. Dylan was heating more water, filling bottles, plastic ones from under the sink, old juice containers, anything that held heat. He placed them around Milo, not too hot, not directly on skin. He knew cold injuries, winter knowledge, lake knowledge. His uncle had fallen through ice once, survived, barely, because people knew what to do. The 911 call connected. Finally, Mrs. Thompson's words tumbled out. Baby, ice, hypothermia, bears. The dispatcher was calm, professional. How long was he in the water? Milo hadn't gone fully under, but wet clothes, frozen air, time crawling on ice. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe more. Too long. They both knew it. "Ambulance is coming," the dispatcher said. 40 minutes from town. Too long. Everything was too long. "Keep him warm, not too fast. Watch his breathing." Instructions, protocols, words that meant maybe, that meant hope, that meant fear. Dylan found Milo's special toy, a stuffed elephant, gray and worn. He placed it near the baby. Milo's eyes found it, focused. His little hand moved, slightly, toward the elephant. Good sign. Movement was good. Awareness was better. The boy felt relief, then guilt. This was his fault, his friend's fault. They'd chased the cub, started everything. "I'm sorry," Dylan said. The words fell out, heavy, necessary. Mrs. Thompson looked at him. Really looked. Saw past the teenage bravado, the cruel laughter. Saw a scared boy, maybe 16, maybe 17. Old enough to know better, young enough to learn. "You stayed," she said simply. "You helped." Forgiveness in crisis. Grace under pressure. She turned back to Milo. His color was better, pink creeping back. Slow, but sure. The towels were working. The heat was working. Time was working. Outside, the sun climbed higher. It painted the broken ice in harsh light. The destruction was clear now. Huge sections had collapsed. Dark water showed through. Anyone out there would have died, should have died, but didn't. Miracle was a small word. This felt bigger. The abandoned phone kept recording, battery draining, memory filling. It caught something else now. Movement at the forest edge. The mother bear hadn't gone far. She sat just inside the trees, watching the cabin. Her cub played at her feet, tumbling in snow, safe, unaware of how close death had come. Back inside, Milo was warming. His shivers started, violent shaking, body fighting cold. Good sign, paradoxically. Shivering meant systems working, meant blood flowing, meant life insisting. Mrs. Thompson held him through it, absorbed his tremors, gave him her heat. Dylan was pacing, window to door to window, watching for the ambulance, checking the bears, replaying everything. His friend Jake had started it, thrown the first rock. His friend Connor had laughed loudest. Where were they now? Hiding, running, forgetting maybe. But Dylan couldn't forget, wouldn't. The cub's cry had changed everything. That moment. When fear replaced fun. When game became danger. He'd felt it shift, the wrongness, the cruelty. But he'd said nothing, done nothing, until too late. Almost too late. The baby's courage shamed him, 16 months old, braver than 3 teenagers. "What's your name?" Mrs. Thompson asked, breaking his spiral. "Dylan," he said. "Dylan Mitchell." She nodded. "Thank you, Dylan." Simple words. They undid something in him. His throat tightened. Eyes burned. He turned away, faced the window, pretended to watch for help. Milo's breathing steadied, deeper, regular. His eyes stayed open now. Tracked movement. His mother's face. Dylan's pacing. The elephant toy, alert, present. The immediate danger passing. But hospitals were still needed. Doctors. Tests. Damage might be hidden. Cold was sneaky, hurt things you couldn't see. The mother bear stood up. Her cub climbed onto her back. Classic pose. Babies riding mothers. Some things crossed species. Universal truths. They moved along the forest edge. Parallel to the cabin. Going somewhere, but not far, not yet. "She's beautiful," Mrs. Thompson said, watching through the window. "Terrifying, but beautiful." Dylan agreed. That massive power. Controlled by love, directed by instinct. What would she have done if her cub had died, if they'd hurt it? He shuddered, knowing. They'd all be dead, torn apart, justice in the wild. Something else was happening outside. Movement from the village. People had heard, seen. News traveled fast in small places. Neighbors appeared, walking carefully, avoiding the broken ice. Mrs. Chen from 2 cabins down. Old Mr. Peterson with his cane, the Garner family, all coming, all concerned. They knocked softly, entered quietly, brought things, blankets, food, prayers, community responding, the way small towns did, the way humans did, when stripped of everything but care. Dylan recognized some, his teacher, the grocery clerk, people who'd see him differently now, forever. "How is he?" Mrs. Chen asked. She had grandchildren. Understood the fear. "Better," Mrs. Thompson managed. "He's tough." Truth and hope mixed. Wishes made fact. The way parents did, the way love worked. Mr. Peterson was a doctor, retired but capable. He examined Milo gently, listened to his chest, checked his reflexes, nodded approval. "You did good," he told Mrs. Thompson, then to Dylan. "Both of you." The boy felt something shift. Inside. Recognition, maybe, or beginning of change. The ambulance siren echoed off mountains, still distant, but coming. Everyone looked up, relief shared, help close. Real help, with machines, medicine, knowledge, things beyond warm towels, beyond hope, beyond luck. Milo reached for his mother. First deliberate movement, strong movement. She lifted him carefully. His weight felt right, solid, real. Not the limp terror of before. He made a sound, almost a word. Ba, he said, could mean bear, could mean blanket, could mean anything, but meant aware, meant trying, meant healing. The bears were leaving now, walking deeper into forest. The cub looked back once. Small head turning, as if remembering, as if saying something. Then trees swallowed them, green darkness, their world, their safety, but connected now, to this world, these people, this story. Dylan's phone buzzed. Messages from Jake, from Connor. Where are you? What happened? Are you okay? He didn't answer. Couldn't. What would he say? That everything was different? That watching cruelty almost kill innocence changed you? That a baby's love for an animal made their fun look like evil? No words for that, not in texts, maybe not ever. The ambulance arrived, red lights painting snow. Paramedics rushed in, professional, efficient. They checked Milo quickly, nodded approval at the warming, the towels, the bottles. You did everything right, one said. Relief flooded Mrs. Thompson. Validation of instinct, of love's GPS in crisis. They prepared to transport. Gentle hands, practiced movements. Milo on a special board, strapped safe, warm. His elephant tucked beside him. He wasn't crying, wasn't scared. His blue eyes watched everything. Taking it in, recording like the phone in the snow, but deeper, in places that shaped souls. I'll follow, Dylan said suddenly. Everyone looked at him, surprised. To the hospital, make sure he's okay. Mrs. Thompson nodded, grateful. This boy who'd been part of the problem, becoming part of the solution, growth in real time, change measured in minutes. The crowd parted, made way for the stretcher, for the mother, for Hope wearing medical uniforms. Everyone quiet, respectful, understanding weight. This wasn't just about a baby and a bear, about ice and water. This was about chances, choices, character revealed. As they loaded Milo, something caught everyone's eye, on the lake, where ice had broken, where death had waited. The yellow blanket had surfaced, floating again, bright against dark water, impossible but there, like hope, like signs, like promises that some things survive. Transformation. Return different but whole. The ambulance doors closed. Sirens started. Softer than arrival, no longer racing death, just ensuring life. It pulled away, careful on frozen roads, carrying tomorrow, carrying story, carrying change. Dylan got in his truck. Old Toyota, rattling heater. He'd follow, he'd watch, he'd remember, he'd be different. The neighbors dispersed slowly, talking quietly, processing. This would be told, retold, become legend maybe, the baby who saved a bear, the bear who saved a baby, the bully who became helper, the lake that gave back what it took. Stories that mattered, that lasted, that changed things. Mrs. Chen picked up the floating blanket, pulled it to shore. It was torn now, frozen, but intact. She wrung it carefully, folded it. Later, she'd wash it, mend it, return it. Some things deserved saving, deserved care, deserved remembering properly. The forest was quiet. The bears were gone, hidden deep, safe. But watching maybe, knowing maybe. That lines had crossed, species had touched. Fear became love, enemy became friend, for moments. But moments that echoed, that rippled, that mattered. The phone in the snow finally died. Battery empty, memory full. Recording stopped. But not the story, never the story. That lived now. In the boy driving to hospital, in the mother holding her baby, in the bear protecting her cub, in the town that would remember, in the lake that knew, in the ice that chose not to take, in the blanket that refused to sink, in the morning that changed everything. The hospital road wound through mountains, 20 miles of curves, ice patches, careful driving. Dylan followed the ambulance. Close, but not too close. His truck heater wheezed, fought the cold. His hands gripped the wheel, white knuckles. Different than this morning, everything different now. His phone kept buzzing. Jake calling. Connor texting. More messages. Dude, where are you? Something happened with bears? My mom is freaking out. The town talking already. News spreading, stories growing. But they didn't know. Not really, not the truth, the whole truth. Inside the ambulance, Milo was stable. The paramedics monitored everything, heart rate, temperature, breathing. Numbers that meant life. That meant hope. That meant careful. Mrs. Thompson held his hand, so small in hers, but warm now, pink now, present now. He's lucky, the paramedic said. A woman named Janet. Kind eyes, years of seeing. Kids are resilient, bounce back faster. She adjusted blankets, checked monitors. Smiled at Milo. He smiled back, tiny but real. First smile since ice. Since cold, since almost. The radio crackled. Hospital checking in, preparing. Pediatric team ready, warming protocols set. Everything organized, waiting. The efficiency of saving lives, of beating odds, of stealing from death. Mrs. Thompson listened. Understood half. Trusted all. Something else was happening, back at the lake. The other boys had returned. Jake and Connor, creeping back, guilty, scared. Looking for evidence, for phones, for trouble. They found Dylan's phone, still recording Sky. Dead battery, but memory intact. Evidence of everything. We gotta delete this, Jake said. Panicked, 17, and stupid. My dad will kill me. Connor nodded, equal fear, equal guilt. They knew the video showed everything, the rocks, the laughter, the running, the cowardice. Their parents would see, everyone would see. But the phone was locked, password protected. They tried combinations. Birthdays, names, teams, nothing worked. Frustration building, fear growing, time ticking. They looked at the lake, at the broken ice, at the truth written in frozen water. Mrs. Chen watched from her window, saw the boys, knew who they were, everyone knew everyone here. She stepped outside, walked over, slow, purposeful. Grandmother pace, but eyes sharp, mind sharper. She'd raised 4 kids, knew guilt, knew fear, knew boys. Looking for something? She asked, mild tone, dangerous undertone. The boys froze, caught, again, always getting caught, never learning. Jake tried to lie, just walking, just looking. But his voice cracked, gave everything away. Mrs. Chen held out her hand. The phone, not a question. Command, years of authority, of wisdom, of knowing. Connor handed it over. No resistance. Defeated. She looked at it. Understood. This tells truth, she said. Truth matters. Back in the ambulance, something strange was happening. Milo was mumbling. Baby talk, but insistent. Burr, 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 over and over, pointing at the window, at the forest passing. At something only he saw, or felt, or knew. Mrs. Thompson looked out. Trees, snow, shadows, nothing special. But Milo kept pointing, kept saying, burr, burr. Then, clear as day, first real word. Bear. The paramedic and mother exchanged glances. Coincidence, maybe, or something more. And children knew things, saw things, felt things adults missed. Dylan's truck radio was on, local news, the story spreading. Incident at Cedar Lake, child and bear encounter. Rescue successful. But wrong. All wrong. Not incident, not encounter. Something bigger, deeper, transformative. He turned it off, couldn't listen, not to simplified, not to reduced, not to misunderstood. His phone rang, unknown number. He answered, hands-free, safe driving. "Dylan?" A man's voice, official. "This is Sheriff Martinez, we need to talk." The sheriff. Everyone knew him, fair, tough, real. About this morning, about the lake. Dylan's stomach dropped. Trouble coming. Justice coming. Deserved coming. "I'll meet you at the hospital," the sheriff said. "We have the video, the phone. How?" Then understanding. Mrs. Chen, of course. Small-town justice, community watching. "Yes, sir," Dylan managed, voice steady, mind racing, heart accepting. The hospital appeared. Modern building, mountain backdrop, Hope architecture. The ambulance turned into emergency. Dylan followed. Parked visitor section. Sat for a moment, breathing, thinking, changing, then got out. Walked toward entrance, toward consequence, toward growth. Inside, controlled chaos. Medical efficiency. Milo was wheeled to pediatrics. Team waiting. Dr. Phillips. Young, competent, reassuring. "Let's take a look at this brave boy," she said. Milo studied her. A serious baby expression, like evaluating, like judging, like knowing. Tests started. Temperature, reflexes, cognitive response, all the checks, all the protocols. Milo cooperated, mostly. Got fussy during blood draw, normal, good. Emotional response intact, everything working, numbers improving, crisis fading, miracle holding. Dylan sat in waiting room, watching door, expecting sheriff, dreading, but ready. A family entered, the Johnsons. Their daughter had asthma, regular visitors. They saw Dylan, recognized him, whispered, pointed. The story spreading, already changing, already growing. "You're the boy," Mrs. Johnson said, not accusing, wondering. "From the lake." Dylan nodded. What else? How explain? "You helped save the baby." Her tone shifted. Warmer, approving. The narrative changing. Hero replacing villain. But Dylan knew better. Knew truth, knew complexity. Sheriff Martinez arrived. Tall, gray hair, steady presence. He sat beside Dylan, no handcuffs, no drama, just conversation. "Tell me," he said simply. So Dylan did, everything, the boredom, the cruelty, the chase, the fear, the change, the help, the shame, the growth, all of it. The sheriff listened, nodded, processed. "The others?" he asked. Jake Warren, Connor Bennett. Names given, truth told, consequences accepted. "They ran," Dylan added. "I stayed. Fact, not excuse, just fact. But important fact, choice fact, character fact." "The video shows everything," Sheriff Martinez said, "including your help, including your change." He paused, choosing words. Sometimes worst moments reveal best selves. Sometimes mistakes become lessons. Sometimes boys become men. Dylan felt tears. Unexpected, embarrassing, cleansing. In the examination room, Dr. Phillips was impressed. "Remarkable recovery," she told Mrs. Thompson. "Kids are amazing, but this—" She showed charts, temperatures, vitals, recovery rate. "This is exceptional. He should be much worse. The cold, the time, the stress." She shook her head. Lucky doesn't cover it. Milo played with the stethoscope. Fascinated, happy, present. No sign of trauma, of damage, of lasting harm. Just a baby, after being hero, after being bridge, after being brave. His mother watched, cried quietly, relief tears, joy tears, miracle tears. Something else was happening. Outside the hospital, in the parking lot, a disturbance. Security called, nurses looking, pointing, gasping. There, by the forest edge, where civilization met wild. Two shapes, large and small, watching, waiting, bears, the mother and cub, same ones, no doubt. They sat perfectly still, 50 yards from building, far enough for safety, close enough for statement, for presence, for connection. People gathered, windows filled, phones appeared, pictures, videos, proof, wonder. Dylan saw them through waiting room glass, stood slowly, walked to window, pressed palm against cold pane. The mother bear's head turned, looked directly at him, through glass, through distance, through species, through everything, understanding past, acknowledgement, forgiveness maybe, or just witness. In the exam room, Milo got excited, pointed at window. "Bear, bear," clear words, insistent. Dr. Phillips looked out, saw nothing, wrong angle, but Milo knew, felt, connected. He squirmed, wanted down, wanted out, wanted them. "It's okay, sweet boy," his mother soothed. But Milo wasn't distressed, just determined, just knowing, just feeling. The bond formed on ice, in crisis, through love, still there, still real, still pulling. His little hands reached, grasped air, called silently. The sheriff stood beside Dylan, watched the bears. 40 years in these mountains, he said quietly. "Never seen this. They don't come to town, don't seek humans, don't—" He stopped. No words for this, for what it meant, for what it showed, then movement. The cub stood, wobbly, playful. It took steps toward the building. The mother allowed it, watched, protected, but allowed. The cub came closer. 20 yards, 15, 10, people held breath. Security debated. Sheriff waited. Moment balanced. The cub sat right there. Parking lot center. Looked up at windows, at faces, at wonder. Then it did something impossible, something pure, something transforming. It lay down, rolled over, played, like a dog, like a pet, like a friend, showing belly, showing trust, showing thanks. Cameras clicked, videos rolled, witnesses gasped. The mother bear watched. Calm, proud maybe, understanding something, teaching something, that walls were imaginary, that species were connected, that kindness transcended, that love translated, that babies knew truth adults forgot. Dylan walked outside. No one stopped him. The sheriff followed. Others too, slow exodus, careful approach. The cub saw Dylan, recognized maybe, remembered possibly. It sat up, alert but not afraid, curious but not aggressive, young but not naive. "Hey, little one," Dylan said softly, the same tone Milo had used, gentle, respectful, loving. The cub tilted its head, listening, learning, being. The mother bear rumbled, warning, but soft warning, boundary setting, not threat, just mother, just careful, just love. The hospital doors opened, wheelchair emerged. Milo bundled warm, Mrs. Thompson pushing. Dr. Phillips following. They'd seen from inside, felt the pull, answered the call. Milo saw the bears. His face lit up. Pure joy, recognition, connection. "Bear," he shouted, laughed, reached. The cub stood, took one step, another, toward Milo, slow, careful, right. The mother allowed, watched, trusted. The distance closed, 10 feet, 5, 3, close enough, safe enough, right enough. The cub sat, looked at Milo. Milo looked back, then the miracle. The cub reached out one paw, gentle, careful, touched the wheelchair wheel. Milo reached down. Baby hand met bear paw. For seconds, for eternity, for connection, for completion, for proof that morning changed everything. That ice broke barriers. That love spoke all languages. The mother bear stood, called once. Soft sound, time to go. The cub responded, backed away, slow, reluctant but obedient. They walked together, back to forest, back to wild, back to themselves, but different, connected, changed, part of larger story now. Everyone watched them go, silent, awed, transformed. When they reached the trees, both bears turned. Last look, last moment, last gift, then gone, swallowed by green, by shadow, by mystery, by rightness, leaving humans standing, wondering, knowing, changed. The hospital parking lot remained quiet. People stood frozen, processing, some wiped tears, others held phones, forgetting to record, too moved to document. Sometimes life was bigger than social media, bigger than proof, bigger than sharing. This was one of those times. Dr. Phillips broke the silence. "Inside," she said gently. "He needs warmth." Medical mind returning, but changed. Everyone was changed. She'd seen births, deaths, miracles, but this was different. This was bridges between worlds. This was impossible made real. Back in the warmth, Milo was different. Calmer, deeper somehow. His baby eyes held knowledge, old knowledge, bear knowledge, connection knowledge. He didn't cry for the bears, didn't reach for windows. He knew they'd come, they'd touched, they'd completed something. That was enough. The sheriff pulled Dylan aside. Different conversation now. "The video shows everything," he said. "The cruelty, the danger, but also the change, your help, your choice." He paused, weighing justice, measuring growth. "There'll be consequences for all three, but yours will reflect your actions, all your actions." Dylan nodded, ready. "What about Jake and Connor?" He had to know, had to face it fully. "They'll answer too," Sheriff Martinez said. Mrs. Chen brought the phone. "We've talked to parents. This isn't over." But his tone suggested understanding. That sometimes justice was complex. That punishment and redemption could dance together. Mrs. Thompson was signing papers, release forms, follow-up schedules, normal procedures after abnormal events. But her mind was elsewhere, on ice, on bears, on her baby who saved and was saved, on Dylan who fell and rose, on a morning that rewrote rules. "He can go home," Dr. Phillips said. "Watch for delayed reactions. Sometimes trauma hides, surfaces later." She touched Milo's cheek, soft gesture. "But this one, he seems beyond trauma, like he processed it differently, like it was purpose, not accident. Medical training versus mystical experience. Science losing to wonder. The news had spread further. Reporters arriving, vans with satellites, microphones and cameras. The modern hunger for story, for viral, for content. But hospital security held them back. Privacy first, healing over headlines, truth over trending. Jake and Connor were at the police station. Separate rooms, separate stories, but matching guilt, their parents present. Angry, ashamed, confused. How did their boys become this? When did games become cruelty? Where was the line they crossed, and how far back? Jake broke first. Tears and confession. "We didn't mean, it was supposed to be funny." The hollow defense of thoughtless actions, of mob mentality, of youth without wisdom. His father's face was stone. His mother cried, disappointment heavier than anger. Connor held out longer, but crumbled too. The video was undeniable. Their laughter, their rocks, their chase, their running. Everything preserved. Digital conscience, electronic judgment. No hiding from recorded truth, from pixel testimony, from binary morality. Sheriff Martinez interviewed them thoroughly, built the case, understood the psychology, teen boredom, pack mentality, escalation dynamics, but also choices, moment by moment, rock by rock, laugh by laugh, until almost tragedy, until baby heroics, until bare grace, until universe intervention. Back at the cabin, neighbors had gathered, cleaning up, fixing damage, collecting memories. The yellow blanket was drying. Mrs. Chen had washed it. Gentle cycle, cold water, preserving more than fabric, preserving symbol, preserving story, preserving change. Old Mr. Peterson organized everything. Dr. Habits, leader instincts. This matters, he kept saying. This teaches. He'd lived through wars, seen humanity's worst and best. This morning ranked high, top-tier humanity. Despite starting low, because of starting low, the swing made it powerful. They found other things. Broken ice chunks with claw marks, bare fur caught on bushes, baby footprints in snow. Tiny, determined, heading lakeward. Evidence of courage, of instinct, of something beyond explanation. They collected carefully, reverently, like relics, like proof of miracle. The local newspaper editor arrived. Tom Bradley, 60 years of stories, small-town chronicles. But nothing like this. He interviewed everyone, took notes, felt the weight. This wasn't just news, this was mythos. This was town identity. This was generational marker. Before the bear morning. After the bear morning. At the hospital, Milo was ready, dressed warm, new clothes. The old ones were evidence now. Saved for investigation, but also for memory. For eventual museum, maybe, for grandchildren's stories. For proof that ordinary mornings could become extraordinary. That babies could be heroes. That bears could be angels. Dylan waited with them. Couldn't leave, didn't want to. Part of it now, part of them, part of story. Mrs. Thompson had invited him. Simple gesture, profound meaning. From enemy to family, from threat to protector, from boy to man, in hours, in crisis, in grace. I need to tell my parents, Dylan said. Nervous, afraid, but determined. They didn't know yet. About involvement, about change, about everything. They should hear from me, maturity speaking, responsibility growing, character solidifying. Mrs. Thompson touched his shoulder. Want me to come? Mother instinct, even for boys who chased bears, even for teens who chose wrong. Before choosing right, before becoming more. No, Dylan said. But thank you for everything, for forgiving, for seeing. His voice cracked, eyes wet, heart full. They left together. Small parade, woman and baby, boy becoming man. Hospital to parking lot, sun higher now, melting edges, warming air, different than morning, everything different than morning. The spot where bears had been was empty, but not empty. Energy lingered, memory hovered, connection remained. Dylan's truck was parked beside Mrs. Thompson's car. He helped load Milo's car seat. Careful, protective, natural. Like he'd always been helper, always been guard, always been good. The transformation complete but invisible. Internal architecture rebuilt, soul renovated, purpose clarified. Will you visit? Mrs. Thompson asked. Surprising herself, surprising him, but not really. Bonds forged in crisis were different, stronger, immediate, real. If you'll have me, Dylan answered. Hope in voice, need in eyes, belonging in heart. The bears might come back, little Milo said suddenly. Clear words, sure words, prophet words. Everyone stopped, stared. He'd been quiet since touch, since connection, since completion. But now, statement, promise, prediction. Bear friends, he added, then smiled, then slept. Exhaustion claiming victory. The drive home was quiet, each in their thoughts, their cars, their changes. The mountain road curved familiar, but saw different. Everything same, but changed. Perspective shifted. Values adjusted. Priorities clarified. The morning's gift spreading. Growing, taking root. At the police station, decisions were made. Jake and Connor would face charges. Reckless endangerment. Animal cruelty. Minor in possession. The rocks counted as weapons. The ice as attempted harm. The recording as testimony, but juvenile, court, community service, counseling mandatory, justice with mercy, punishment with purpose. Their parents struggled, good families, decent people. How did this happen? Where did they fail? The sheriff was kind but firm. Sometimes kids need to fall, to learn, to grow. This is their fall. Help them grow. Wisdom earned through decades, through seeing, through understanding human complexity. Back at Cedar Lake, the ice was reforming. Slow freeze, natural healing, but different pattern now. The break lines remained visible. Scars in crystal, story in solid water. Children would skate there, point to marks, hear tale, learn lessons. Forever different, forever careful, forever connected. The forest was quiet but watchful. Deeper in, beyond human sight, the bears denned. Mother and cub, safe, warm, together, but changed too. The cub dreamed, small paws twitching. Remembering perhaps, baby touch, blanket warmth, bridge moment, connection permanent. The mother bear stayed awake, alert, processing. Her cub was different now, marked by human kindness, saved by baby courage, connected across species. She understood, somehow, that lines had blurred, that territories had merged, that her cub carried treaty, unspoken, unwritten, but real. Evening came early, mountain schedule, winter hours. Lights appeared in cabins, families gathered, stories shared. The same tale, different angles, various versions. But core truth, baby and bear, ice and choice, cruelty and kindness, fall and rise, death and life, separation and connection. Tom Bradley typed late. Tomorrow's headline forming, but struggling. How capture this? How contain miracle in newsprint? How explain the unexplainable? He'd interviewed everyone, had facts, had quotes, had pictures, but missed essence, missed magic, missed the thing that changed people. He walked outside, looked at stars, bright in clear air, ancient light, traveling years to arrive, like truth, like wisdom, like love. Taking time but arriving, always arriving, if people watched, if people waited, if people recognized. This morning they had, all of them, finally. At the Thompson cabin, Milo slept deep, crib by window, moonlight streaming, his breath even, peaceful, healed. But more than healed, enhanced, connected. Part of larger story now, bridge between worlds, translator of love, teacher of courage, at 16 months, before words, beyond words. Mrs. Thompson sat watching, cup of tea cooling, mind racing then slowing, settling into new normal, new understanding. Her baby had walked onto breaking ice, toward danger, toward bear, toward purpose. She should be traumatized, was transformed instead. Motherhood expanded, included all cubs now, all babies, all brave small things. Dylan sat with his parents, kitchen table, harsh light, hard conversation. They'd heard pieces, needed whole. He told everything, held nothing back. His mother went pale, his father got red, then quiet, then thoughtful, processing their son's fall and rise and change and choice and future. The Thompsons forgave, Dylan said. Final argument, best evidence. The Bears forgave, even the sheriff understands. He waited, watched, hoped. His parents exchanged looks, lifetime of communication, silent conference, parental jury. Then his mother cried. His father nodded, verdict reached. Disappointment, yes, but pride, too. Their boy had failed, then flew, then found himself. Miles away, Jake lay in bed, staring at ceiling, replaying morning, the fun that turned fear, the game that became guilty, the laughter that led to almost death. He saw it now, clear, ugly, his part, his choice, his chance to change. Tomorrow would start consequences. Tonight started conscience. Connor was writing. Letter to Milo, to Mrs. Thompson, to bears if letters reached forests. Apology, promise, pledge to be different, be better, be worthy of the forgiveness he'd witnessed, the grace he'd received, the second chance he'd grabbed. Words were hard, truth harder, change hardest, but necessary, but possible, but beginning. The night deepened. Cedar Lake reflected stars now. The broken ice had become mirror, holding heaven, showing Earth its better self. The crack lines glowed faintly, moonlight catching edges, making art from accident, beauty from breaking, map of miracle, forever etched, forever visible, forever teaching. Spring came early that year, unusual warmth, gentle thaw. The lake opened sooner, revealed secrets. The yellow blanket's twin was found, deep in clear water, perfectly preserved, like it was waiting. The Thompson family retrieved it. 2 blankets now, one for Milo, one for the town museum, where the story lived, where children learned, where people remembered. Dylan visited often, became like family. Big brother to Milo, helper to Mrs. Thompson. His friends noticed change. His grades improved. His heart grew. The boy who chased bears now protected all creatures, volunteered at animal shelter, studied veterinary medicine, found purpose in that morning's shame, made meaning from mistake. Jake and Connor served their service, cleaned parks, helped elderly, spoke at schools about bullying, about choices, about mourning that changed them. They weren't friends with Dylan anymore, but weren't enemies, just different, just separate, just learning their own ways forward. Some bridges can't be rebuilt, only replaced, only honored, only learned from. The bears returned each spring. Same 2, mother and growing cub. They'd appear at lake's edge, dawn usually, when mist rose, when world was soft, when boundaries thinned. They never came close, but always visible, always watching, always connected. Town learned to expect them, to welcome them, to need them. Milo grew talking early, walking surely, knowing deeply. He'd lead people to windows, point to forest. They're coming, he'd say, and they would, every time, like he heard their plans, felt their movement, shared their spirit. His connection never faded, only deepened, only strengthened, only spread. By his 3rd birthday, Milo was local legend, the baby who saved bears, the child who spoke to forest, the bridge between worlds. But he was just Milo, happy kid, loving son, good friend, who happened to understand something about courage, about connection, about love having no species, no boundaries, no limits. The town changed too, slowly, surely, permanently, more careful with nature, more aware of connections, more understanding of balance. The lake became sacred somehow, protected, honored, visited by pilgrims. Who'd heard the story, who needed to see, who wanted to believe, in miracles, in redemption, in unexpected grace. Tom Bradley won awards. His article about that morning, but he always said the story wrote itself. He just held the pen. The truth was bigger than words, deeper than ink, realer than paper. It lived in the town, in the people, in the bears, in the lake, in the connections that multiplied, that strengthened, that lasted. Years later, when Milo was 7, something extraordinary happened. He was playing by the lake. Summer afternoon, supervised but free. A young bear emerged, not the original cub. Next generation, grandson maybe, or just inheritor, of story, of connection, of treaty. The bear approached slowly. Milo sat still. They met at water's edge, safe distance, but close enough. The bear extended a paw. Milo extended his hand. They didn't touch, didn't need to. The space between them hummed, with recognition, with remembrance, with promise, that some things transcend time, transfer through generations, transform forever. Mrs. Thompson watched from shore, Dylan beside her. He was in vet school now, home for summer, Still visiting, still connected, still family. They said nothing. Witnessed much, understood more. That morning's gift kept giving, kept growing, kept teaching, that love was larger, that courage was contagious, that grace was renewable. The young bear turned, walked back to forest, unhurried, unafraid, unforgotten. At the tree line, it paused, looked back. Not at Milo, at the lake, at the spot, at the beginning, then disappeared. But everyone knew it would return. They all would, always. The connection was permanent, the treaty eternal, the miracle continuing. That night, Milo told his mother, "The ice will never break that way again." She asked how he knew. He smiled, old smile, bear smile, bridge smile. "Because we fixed it, all of us. That morning, we fixed more than ice." And she understood. Finally. Fully. That breaking had been necessary, for building, for bonding, for becoming. The stars that night were brilliant. Ancient light on new understanding. The lake held them all. Sky stars, memory stars, future stars. And somewhere in forest depths, bears slept peacefully. Dreaming, perhaps, of babies who save, of humans who learn, of mornings that matter, of ice that chooses, of love that transcends, of connections that never break, only bend, only stretch, only grow stronger. And in his small bed, Milo slept too, surrounded by stuffed bears, covered by yellow blanket, guarded by memories, blessed by purpose, bridge between worlds, teacher without words, hero at 16 months, forever at 7 years, always and eternal, the baby who walked on breaking ice and brought everyone safely home. The story lived on, in tellings, in retellings, in hearts, in changes, in the lake that remembered, in the forests that knew, in the bears that returned, in the boy who grew different, in the teens who chose better, in the town that learned deeper, in the ice that healed stronger, in the morning that changed everything, forever and always, world without end, connection without breaking, love without borders, grace without measure, the end that was beginning, the beginning that never ends.